On Monday, April 11, 1981, at a quiet bank in Barrington, Chicago, the morning began just like any other. The bank attendant unlocked the vault. Everything seemed normal until a client arrived to access her safety deposit box. As they inserted the keys, something went terribly wrong. The lock cylinder fell right into the box. Confusion turned to shock as they discovered the truth. 74 boxes had been broken into. No signs of forced entry, no holes, no visible damage. Yet the boxes were empty. The bank's management immediately called the police. Given that this was a branch of the federal bank, the FBI joined the investigation. The officers were puzzled. Over $1 million worth of valuables had been stolen, but the vault door was completely intact. Only a few strange clues were left behind. A rusty alarm clock, a small hammer, a pair of pliers, and a bottle filled with urine. Local newspapers quickly called it the perfect crime. But how had it been pulled off? Because in reality, the mastermind behind this heist wasn't a team of elite criminals, but a single man. William Smarto, a charming hairdresser with a hunger for risk and a taste for high-stakes crime. By day, he styled hair in a ladies' salon, but by night he plotted his most daring heist. Smarto had a partner, his brother Vincent. Together, they set their sights on a single target, the Barrington branch of the First National Bank. But their plan wasn't just about cracking a vault, it was about cracking human behavior. They chose a wealthy neighborhood, knowing the safety deposit boxes would be filled with valuables. Step 1 was infiltration. They rented a safety deposit box under a fake name, giving them a reason to visit the vault again and again. Smarto used his charm on the vault attendant, becoming a familiar, friendly face. Vincent watched, noting the attendant's habits, when she took breaks, how she behaved. The brothers weren't looking for weaknesses in the vault's metal, but in the people guarding it. This method is known as social engineering, a technique where criminals manipulate people instead of systems. Smarto needed tools for the heist, but he didn't bring them all at once. Piece by piece, he smuggled them into the vault, hidden in his own safety deposit box. A wrench one day, a small crowbar the next. He built his toolkit in plain sight. But there was a bigger discovery. The vault attendant only checked IDs when customers entered, never when they left. Smarto and Vincent had just found their perfect opening. But how did they manage to rob 74 safety deposit boxes without leaving a trace? The answer was a blend of patience, deception, and a master stroke of criminal brilliance. And this was just the beginning of their perfect crime. Smarto knew that if he wanted to pull off the perfect heist, he needed to think beyond the obvious. To explain the large bags he would be bringing, he told the bank staff he was an art and painting dealer, his perfect cover. But there was still one problem: the big tools. Tools too large to fit inside his safety deposit box. Then Smarto made a brilliant discovery. The vault had a false ceiling, a hidden space above where he could store anything he needed. Slowly and carefully, he smuggled in everything: his tools, flashlights, even food. His secret hideout above the vault was now stocked like a survival kit. But there was another obstacle: the alarm system. The alarm was a simple sound sensor designed to detect drilling or jackhammering on the vault walls. Not a problem for most criminals, but Smarto was anything but ordinary. Using his experience in electronics, he disabled the sound accumulator, rendering the alarm useless. Yet paranoia gnawed at him. What if there were other hidden alarms he didn't know about? So he set a clever trap: an old alarm clock hidden on the false ceiling, set to ring at night when the bank was closed. If any other sound sensors existed, they would trigger the alarm, and the police would come running. That night, the clock rang. Moments later, the police arrived, checked the bank, and left when they found nothing. Smarto's suspicion was right. There were other sound sensors, but now he knew where they were. Over the next few days, he quietly disabled them one by one, making the vault completely silent to any disturbance. Finally, he tested it again. Another alarm clock, another quiet night, and no police this time. Now, he was ready for the most daring part of his plan, the break-in. Saturday, April 11th, 1981. Smarto walked into the bank as usual. His brother Vincent was already there, charming the vault attendant, keeping her distracted. Smarto, following their routine, went with the attendant to his safety deposit box. Once inside, she left him alone. This was his moment. He climbed onto the row of safety deposit boxes and slipped into a hidden corner, a small dead space where two rows met. While Vincent continued chatting with the attendant, Smarto remained perfectly still, invisible, a ghost within the vault. When the bank closed, the attendant locked the vault, completely unaware that Smarto was still inside. Silence fell. Smarto waited until he was certain everyone had left. Then he climbed down, turned on his flashlight, and got to work. He had brought a set of specially cut stove bolts, perfectly sized to match the lock cylinders of the safety deposit boxes. Using these, he broke each lock without leaving visible damage. One by one, he emptied the boxes, taking cash, jewelry, and valuables. But he wasn't just stealing. He saw himself as a modern-day Robin Hood. If he found documents showing someone was in debt, he would leave valuables in their box instead. A twisted sense of justice in the middle of a crime. Hours passed. Fatigue set in. Smarto took breaks, eating, drinking, and checking the vault for anything out of place. Finally, he put everything back, the lock cylinders, the tools above the false ceiling, and carefully cleaned any traces of his work. By Monday morning, the vault looked untouched. Nothing seemed out of place. Smarto crouched in his hidden corner, waiting. When the vault was unlocked, he used a small mirror to watch the attendant. The bank was busy, but no one suspected anything. Disguised as a workman, Smarto slipped out, a bag of stolen goods slung over his shoulder. His brother Vincent was outside, waiting with a car, but there was too much loot to carry in one trip. So, Smarto went back a second time, walked out again without raising suspicion. By the time the bank realized it had been robbed, Smarto was long gone. The FBI flooded the crime scene. Investigators photographed every corner, dusted for fingerprints, analyzed the strange items left behind, including the alarm clock. But they were baffled. No forced entry, no fingerprints, no clues. It was as if the thief had simply vanished into thin air. A perfect crime, orchestrated by a hairdresser with a genius for deception. The FBI's investigation into the Barrington bank robbery led them to a critical realization. Someone had tampered with the sound sensors inside the vault. After examining the list of safety deposit box owners, they discovered something else. 2 names on that list were fake, a clear sign that the thieves had rented one of the boxes themselves. But despite questioning the bank staff and collecting descriptions, the investigation stalled. The case went cold, an unsolved mystery. For a whole year, the Barrington heist remained an enigma. But then, something strange happened at another bank in Chicago. A client walked into the restroom, and suddenly, a piece of the false ceiling collapsed on his head. Startled, he looked up and noticed movement above. Security was called, and when they climbed up with a flashlight, they saw a leg. Hidden above the ceiling, crouched in the darkness, was William Smarto. The police pulled him out, and a quick search revealed his tools, familiar tools, just like those used in the Barrington robbery. When the FBI heard of Smarto's capture, they dug deeper into his background and uncovered the truth. This was no ordinary hairdresser. Smarto was a master thief with a long history of bold, ingenious crimes. One of those crimes had taken place just a month and a half earlier. In another bank, a janitor had walked in to find a man disguised as a workman drilling through the vault wall. The janitor asked him, "What are you doing?" Smarto, without missing a beat, looked him in the eye and replied, "When I'm done, clean this up, please." A brazen display of confidence and a perfect escape. Smarto didn't just steal for money, he stole for the thrill, the challenge, the excitement. It was a game to him. Even during the Barrington heist, he showed a twisted sense of morality, taking valuables from the rich and placing them in the boxes of those he believed were poor. But his arrogance became his downfall. His method, hiding above false ceilings, using alarm clocks as traps, and targeting vaults, became a signature. A signature the FBI now recognized. Smarto denied everything, but the evidence was too clear. His unique style, his tools, even the way he disabled alarms, it all pointed to him. He was convicted and sentenced to 20 years in prison, but the judge made him an offer. If Smarto returned the stolen loot, his sentence would be reduced. At first, he still maintained his innocence, but facing 2 decades behind bars, he changed his mind. His lawyer brought a bag to court, wet, dirty, and reeking of decay. Inside, the police found most of the stolen money and jewelry from the Barrington heist. True to his word, the judge reduced Smarto's sentence from 20 years to just 8. But there was one more condition. Smarto had to explain how he pulled off his heists. And so, he confessed. He revealed the secrets of the false ceilings, the hidden corners and vaults, and his careful use of social engineering. Well, his confession did more than just close a case. It changed American banking forever. False ceilings and bank vaults were eliminated. Dead corners were redesigned. Security measures were rethought. William Smarto, an ambitious hairdresser with a brilliant criminal mind, had gone from a ghost thief to a cautionary tale. And with that, the legend of the Barrington heist finally came to an end. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe our channel.